All right, here we're talking about engagement. This is a loaded question, I guess, because a lot of people ask me, how do I be engaging and how do I get the attention of other people and that kind of stuff. What you're really trying to do is have a call to action, okay, with all this stuff. And I'll start from the bottom of the slide and go up. It's all about relationships and what you can provide them. I want to lead with that because that's vitally important here and all this stuff. When you are going forward to building relationships and offering that kind of stuff, as I've talked about in this whole series, you want to give the value first. You want to offer to help somebody more. You want to offer to be there for somebody, a listening ear, advice, whatever the case may be. You want to be there and provide value to them before you ever expect anything in return. And guys like Gary Vaynerchuk that I've been following for years, he has no expectations of anybody, and he's very little disappointed by people because people don't let him down because he has no expectations of them. Now, obviously, he has expectations of his employees and that kind of stuff, but he does not have high expectations for people that are going to let him down, and so he doesn't have disappointments like a lot of us have. And I've started to live more like that too, because if I can make a connection with you by showing you that I love you, that I care about you, that I have your needs in my best interest, that I want to build a relationship with you, that I want to show you value first, that's a lot more conducive to making things happen in your life, with people and with relationships, than just kind of going out there and saying, hey, you should know who I am already, and you should work with me because I'm awesome. All right, there are a lot of people I've seen come and go in this industry that have had that attitude. As crazy as that sounds, they've really come up with their ego leading the charge, and they wonder why they don't get anywhere. All right, I'll start at the top, going from the bottom to the top, going straight to the top here on this slide. I ask good questions. So important to ask good questions of your audience. Now, I'm not saying don't be the Facebook guy that goes on there and puts a post on, I'm going to ask, what's your favorite freshwater fishing lure, or what's your favorite caliber for deer hunting. I mean, you're going to start a fire with some of that stuff because they get people that have brands and love their broadheads or their bullets or their lures or their live bait or whatever more. Everybody's got an opinion. Okay, they're like elbows. Everybody's got one, unless you don't have arms. But you want to ask good questions, and basically you want to ask engaging questions. You want to ask things that are going to be engaging to the point of getting people to respond to you and give a quality response to you. So you want to ask good questions, and if you don't think you're asking questions that are good enough, ask better questions. All right, I've learned that in what I do in sales a lot, is that if I ask good questions and I don't get a good answer, I need to ask better questions. Okay. So that can be a wide variety of things, asking good questions, something that's going to be engaging, something that's going to get a desired response, and something you've got to think about a little bit before you blurt out, and be methodical about. Next, always care about others' needs and desires. Now, I've said this before, and this definitely goes without saying, and some of the stuff we've talked about, but always care about what other people are going through. Always care about their situation, their circumstances, their desires, their needs, their dreams, their goals, their aspirations, all that stuff. You want to make that connection with people, and I can't say how important that really is. I can't say how much important that really is, but it really is important, and it really has something to do with just the caring about each other, which is one of the reasons why we exist as humans, is to learn to care and love with each other. But if you care about somebody, like I said, the Zig Ziglar quote or the Teddy Roosevelt quote, nobody cares about how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you develop that trust and that relationship where they like you, you can go anywhere. I mean, you can get anything that you ever wanted from people if you show them that you love, that you like them, and they trust and like you. And I'm not saying that is an absolute. I'm just saying that's a more conducive way than just showing up and hoping for the best. All right, I see a lot of people show up and hope for the best in social media, and it does not work out very well. So that's something to something to consider, and something to keep in mind. Make relevant connections that are concrete to the audience. You don't want to talk about things that are abstract. You don't want to talk about things that are weird or that people may not know about. You want to talk about things that are going to be, um, of value to them and of usefulness to them. All right, and that goes on with our next point before we get to the bottom one, which we already covered. Always provide value first, ask for audience action second. This goes back to Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. All right, and that's give, 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 ask for the sale. All right, or hammer, 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 hammer. Go hard in the paint. Basically, what you're trying to do is get that engagement to where you're providing value so much so that people will want to buy what you have for them after you've given them the value. Okay, does that make sense? You want to provide value first and ask for audience action second. So if it may be a webinar that I host to sell this course, I'm going to give some of this stuff away. And the way guys like Sam Crowley that I followed have said it is, if you're giving all your good stuff away first, people are going to pay you well for the advice or the coaching or whatever you give away that they pay for privately behind the scenes. Okay, so I always like to give something in advance, some good tidbits for life, some good quotes, some good information that could be useful to people before I ever ask anybody to buy anything from me. Okay, or whatever the case may be. It doesn't even have to be buying stuff from you. It could be engaging with you and following you or liking you or subscribing to you or whatever the case may be in social media. This could apply to a lot of different things.